In 2012, Auriant Mining changed name from Central Asia Gold following a period of restructuring. Can you tell us a bit more what you have achieved in this restructuring process and what the main differences is between Auriant Mining and the old Central Asia Gold?
Yeah, I think that Central Asia Gold had its troubles in the past, and shareholders understood that these troubles were coming not from the quality of the assets, but basically from the quality of the team. And they invited me to join the company. I looked through the assets, I did my homework, visited all of them, and joined in June. And the first task was basically to bring the new team together, and which will be capable of taking this company further. And I think that was the key restructuring task, is basically to assemble a new team, which we successfully completed. I can say that from 1st of June we have a completely new management executive committee. We have all our mine managers, the managing directors at the mine sites are new. We changed a lot of personnel in the head office, more than 50% of people, and that was the key starting point, I think, for the company, is to bring the new team together.
Yes, as you said, new board and new management. What new expertise has this brought to Auriant Mining?
Well, it's a whole range of expertise. You're talking about finance director is new, so everything in financial function, finance function is new, and we supported it. It's not only change of finance director. We have a new guy on IFRS reporting. We have a new guy on cost control. We have a new guy on market intelligence and treasury as well. So it's the whole financial department that is new. Then you look at HR. We didn't have an HR person. Now we have a very strong HR guy whose task is not only doing HR development in the management Moscow office, but more to the mines. He travels to the mines like every month, and that's his area of responsibility. People are mining gold. It's not the equipment. It's people. So you need to work with people. You need a strong HR. Head of legal is new. We've got Max Yakub, who is our chief investment officer, because that's another area of shareholder relations which needs to be taken care of. So it's a whole range of people who came to work in the head office. In the mine side, we have a very good mining engineers and head of the mines. One head of the mine came from Guinea. He used to work for Rusal there as head of the mine, as a managing director. So it's a number of expertise that is brought to the table. And at the board level, we have some changes as well. We have a very experienced geologist from South Africa, who is very well known there, who's in the industry for 25 years. He joined the board. Andrew Becker. We have Peter Dasbury from UK, who used to be a chairman of Highland Gold. He used to be chairman of Kazakh Gold. He used to be on the board of Yevraz. So he is a UK-based, understand market, understand investors' demand and investors' preferences, and understands Russia and understands mining. So these people are bringing in experience from all different sides to the company.
You have today 5 main assets in Russia, which are in different stages of development. Can you share some thoughts on how you plan to develop these assets going forward?
Yeah, well, our one asset that is well known to the public is Tardan, and that's in the Republic of Tver. And the reason it's well known is because the commissioning of that asset was delayed and delayed and delayed. Well, we finally commissioned it in August 2012. It produced about 412 kilograms in 2012, starting from August. And it's now up and running. So that's we tick that box. The investment is made, the factory is built, the equipment is there. Now it's a question of getting production to the installed capacity levels, which is about 1 to 1.2 tons a year. So that ramp up in production will be done over this year, 2013 and 2014. So by the year 2015, we should be in full production at about 1 to 1.2 tons a year at Tardan. The other asset we have is Solkokon in Chita area in far east of Russia, and that asset was always a little bit it was underperforming, and it was overlooked, if you want. So now we developed a new plan for that assets. For that asset, the production can be ramped up to about 500 kilograms a year. We will start that ramp-up process this year, 2013, and again by 2015 we should be producing at least 5 to 600 kilograms from that asset. In addition, we have an alluvial license, which we outsourced, operation of which we outsourced to alluvial contractor. And again, that license used to produce about 70 to 100 kilograms a year. In 2012, they did 114. The plan for this year, for 2013, is about 200 kilograms. So I think if you take all the three assets, they were marginally producing a little bit of gold. Now all three of them are ramped up and come into production, and by 2015 we should be somewhere around close to 2-ton production a year, and that's our immediate growth, not opportunities, but the assets we currently have. The capital is invested, the mine is there, the factory, the processing facility is there, people are there, so it's a question of ramping up production and bringing that gold basically to the market. So that's our immediate plans for the growth which are coming from these three producing sites. The two other stories, one is the joint venture with Centerra, and Centerra is one of the leading gold miners in the world, Canadian company. They're doing mining in Mongolia and Kyrgyzstan. And we had an asset in Republic of Tver, an exploration asset, which the company couldn't support due to the cash restrictions. And so we did a JV with them. They invested their money into the project. They put their management in there. We diluted to about 30%. And currently it's a 70-30 joint venture with them, where they take in lead. They did exploration. They already have 500,000 ounces resource according to 43-101, which is Canadian standard for resource reporting, similar to JORC. And we continue exploration there. So that is something that is coming as an organic growth, but in the future after 3 to 5 years. And then the last one we have is Uzhunzhu. That's an exploration asset. It's a green field in a very interesting area surrounded by different mines. Can't tell you much about it because we just started exploration there. But again, this is one of the opportunities for the future growth.
Okay, but how much gold do you expect to produce during 2013?
2013, our target is to do 1 to 1.2 ton in 2013 overall for the group. And 2012 we produced 642 kilograms. Which was within the target range that we announced to the market, and that was 56% increase over a number of last year. If we do 1.1 to 1.2 tons a year, that's almost doubling that production this year, with a further increase in 2014.
Okay. What are the main operational challenges for Auriant?
The main operational challenge, I think, this year will be, apart from ramping up production, which is obviously a challenge, I think the next key area for us to look at is cost per ounce, cost of production, because at the ramp-up stage, costs are important, but production is more important. But you need to get your internal controls in place and understand you have to control costs because this industry in gold mining costs are escalating very high. I've seen researches that on some items costs are increase quicker than the gold price. So you need to control costs, and that's one of the areas, one of the key areas of our focus that will be this year, next year.
What is your debt situation? What are the refinancing needs, and how do you see cash flows evolve going forward?
Well, the cash flow situation in 2012 was very tough. 2012 we were basically surviving in terms of cash flows, and we did. And we again, since I joined the company, we established a relationship with a new bank in Russia, one of the biggest private banks, Bank. They provided us a credit facility of about $16 million. The relationship we used to have with Bank, we also continue, and that bank provided us about $8 million credit facility. Plus, the key shareholder in the past supported the company with his money, and we do have some debt to the shareholder, but that debt is long term. We just restructured it at the beginning of 2013. We basically converted it into the bond, made it longer term and cheaper. So the interest rate decreased. The security or collaterals that used to be there are gone, and so it's unsecured debt, cheaper and longer term. So that's another strengthening of our balance sheet. In 2013, we just approved the budget for 2013 yesterday at the board of directors. It looks good. I think we will not have such big constraints as we used to have in 2012. The ramp up is supported by the existing credit facilities, I think we feel quite strong in terms of the liquidity situation.
You have recently stated that you generate enough cash flow to cover operating expenses. However, what financing needs do you see when you start production at the assets that are not producing today?
Well, the assets we have currently, they are producing, but they are producing too little. If you talk about Solcocon, for example, Solcocon in 2012 produced only 116 kilograms. And that is obviously not enough even to cover operating expenses. So we need to ramp up Solcocon, and as I mentioned, Solcocon will be ramped up to 500 kilograms, probably not in 1 year, but next year, if it will do 300, that will be cash positive already. So it's because the mining fleet exists, the processing facility exists on all of our sites, you don't need to build a factory basically. It's a question of renovation, it's a question of maybe changing some of the equipment, maybe installing some equipment to increase the capacity, but it's not building a factory from scratch. So in terms of capital requirements, it's not much.
In recent months, Swedish investors have had some bad experience from smaller mining companies, for example, Nordic Mines and Northland Resources. They have underestimated cost for production, combined with lack of sufficient financing. How do you make sure that Auriant Mining avoids the risk of doing the same mistakes?
Well, I think that first of all, the investment is already made, and the mine is already commissioned. It's up and running. I think the risk of taking debt and not performing is highest when you are in commissioning stage. And at commissioning stage, anything can happen. You can never guarantee that you can commission in June or you can commission in July. Commissioning is a long process, and commissioning is a difficult process, complicated process, especially in gold mining, where the process technology is different for each asset, and it's a complicated thing. So, when you're at commissioning stage, yes, that risk of sort of failing on your financial obligation is very high. For us, we passed that stage. We already commissioned, we're in production, the relationship with the banks are good, the banks are happy, we are happy, hope the shareholders are happy as well.
So it's lower risk in comparing
Yeah.
to
It's
these
a
companies.
different stage. Yeah,
Yes.
we're not in that situation already. I think we've been in a similar situation in 2011. We've been in a similar situation up to the second half of 2012. Now that is over. We're already in a different stage. If you look at our company like 1 year ago, you could say, well, this is a junior exploration company that is trying to become a producer. If you look at us today, and yes, it's only half a year timeline, but if you look at us today, we are an emerging producer already. You cannot say that we're a junior exploration company. We have 3 producing sites. So it's a different story now than it was 6 months ago.
What is your outlook for the gold price?
That's a good question. Well, we are positive on the gold price. I think that the whole industry is positive on the gold price, and we also positive on the gold price. But I remember, when the gold price was 275, and gold mines were in operation. They were producing and they were profitable. Well, at 275, a lot of them were not, but still, gold was produced. When I joined Highland Gold as a CFO back in 2003, I remember the gold price was about 350, and our operating margin was about 40 to 50%. So our cash costs were about 150, maybe $170 an ounce. Now you see the gold at about 1,700, and the average cost for the industry is around $600 an ounce. So yeah, the gold price moves, the cost moves. I think that in gold mining, if you have a good asset, you can make money at any gold price. So we are positive on the gold, but at the same time we need to be prepared. If the gold price drops, we need to be in the business anyhow.
In your view, what makes Auriant mining an interesting investment for potential new shareholders?
Well, I think that, first of all, I'm a shareholder at Auriant myself. I bought some shares at the end of last year because I think it's an interesting story for myself. I think that if you look at gold mining and at the regions where you need to be in terms of where the growth will come from gold, it's probably not South Africa anymore. It used to be. It's probably Russia. And because in Russia there are a lot of assets that will be brought to production that were not in production before. But if you look at the Russian landscape in terms of the gold mining industry, you have 2-3 majors, maybe another 2-3 intermediate producers. But if you look below sort of intermediate producers level, where the highest growth for shareholders is, for junior companies, there are some junior producers who are private, but there are no public junior producers. If you want to invest into a junior producer with a growth that is visible, we are pretty much the only company in Russia for that type of growth, which is a bad thing because you need to have peers. I would love that we had more junior producers around us. Then it's a community, and then any shareholder may invest not in one company but in 2, 3, or 4, or 5. I would love to be in such situation because it's then much easier. You have more peers, more comparables. It's much easier to work, and from shareholder it's much better.
They would be more familiar to the sector.
And more familiar to the sector,
Yes.
exactly. And currently we're kind of sitting there on our own, saying, hey guys, we're here, we're producing, but yeah, if you compare us to Highland or to Polus, to Polymetal, we're too small, we're tiny. But we're producing and we are growing. We have our growth plans for immediate future for the next 2-3 years in terms of organic growth. And then I think, again, I don't think it's a short-term story. We do have a visible short-term growth plans in terms of ramping up production. But after that, I believe that there are a lot of consolidation opportunities in Russia. And being a public company with the support of shareholders, you become basically a consolidation vehicle because you have access to capital which private companies don't have. So in that regard, we debated it at the board of directors yesterday, and basically we said, look, we need to be prepared for that non-organic growth in future, and therefore we need to increase our shareholder base. We need to reach out to institutional investors as well, and we need to move to the main market. Because currently the company is traded at the First North, and for many shareholders the First North stocks are no-go. So we made that decision yesterday that we will move to the main market within the next 12, maybe 18 months, and now that process will start.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.